I suppose we need to get some volunteers who could write some sort of a bid or a proposal. Who would be up for that? Would you be interested, Darren, helping?
Yeah,
And
we've already.
in a more informal arrangement, would we also have to create some sort of a proposal to submit to the housing management? Or
You need 20 members at a minimum to put in an application. So, like I was saying last week, between us, we could do this. We could make the numbers up if we needed to do that. Um, so, I just want to bring you up to date on some of my inquiries, because I have begun to reach out to our friends and supporters at the community garden, and we've got some of them here now. So briefly, we've got Adam with us, and Adam's really interested in medicinal plants, which we've got an abundance up on the community garden. We're into seed sovereignty and collecting saving our seeds. So what I can tell you is that you've definitely got plants like yarrow growing up on the mound, and you've got clover, you've got red clover, and you've got vetch, which indicates that the ground is probably quite fertile. We were up there yesterday, a little bit later on in the evening, and I totally agree with Steve about doing a site survey. I've run this past our volunteers, and so we're looking to organise a date where those who are interested, we've got at least 7 people interested from our side. I'm sure their availability will be limited, but there's still more. There's more to come, potentially. And like one of the guys was saying about the road, you wouldn't want to have a project with the school children, and there are particular risks there. However, we've done a little bit of research, and there's things that we can put in place. There's natural fences that we can create with willow, for example. We can get them in the ground anytime soon, and we don't need permission for this. We can get these willows in the ground so that they'll grow. So they'll grow like that, and there's other types of hedges that you can use. I'm sure Ellen knows about all the different other trees that you can use: hawthorn, elder, hazel. There's all manner. I don't think we'd have too much difficulty getting donations of hedgings to put in place to make it a lot more safer. Thinking on this, there would be a degree of maintenance needed to make sure that things don't overgrow and protrude into the roadside. However, I think if we leave a gap of at least 5 metres or so from the road, that will stand us in good stead, and we'll be able to secure any danger risk zones there. So there are a good few. There's plenty of wild species of flowers, plants, animals, insects on the site. We've got volunteers that do help out with the Rosebank projects from time to time, and that are really keen in community projects and serving the community and getting things started. So back to the point. Again, thanks Kim. We've got Kim as well from Happy Caterpillar THC. These guys have helped us with some of our projects, and in particular sign making and designing. Kim is a graphic designer, and I'll come back to that shortly. So in contact with the planning department. I just wanted the confirmation about whether it has been withdrawn, the contract, whether it is safe now. I've not received that, but you guys seem to suggest that that's definitely the case, so that's very good if that's right. Obviously still under council management. I think Lee was saying last time that even though it's under a certain particular housing management, that doesn't mean to say that they do the maintenance for it. So I put in a request to find out who does maintain the land, what part of the council are maintaining the land, and it seems from our working up there, visiting to the site, that there is no maintenance carried out on the land. There doesn't seem to be any. The only maintenance that there has been seems to be when Steve and local members of the community have been up there, and we've made it clear that we want this land keeping as a green space, but it seems to have been overlooked because there are categories that would include greenbelt land, and therefore we've gone forward with further inquiries, and we wanted to know. All right, please can you confirm when the land in question was allocated as housing land? Right, we want to know that, and we want to know whether there was a consultation with the local community before it was gone through as housing land. And also, where else are we on this? Would like to take. We've asked the council if they'll support us with having it registered as a community asset, or re-registering, recategorising the land as greenbelt land, because then we wouldn't have to worry too much about having it registered as a community asset if it was recategorised as greenbelt land, right? And then we could go forward and get relevant permissions to use it, keep maintaining it in such a way that it maintains its natural diversity, but also make it functional for the school as a forest garden, for example. So we've also, with Adam, really interested in medicinal plants. We're thinking about proposing the idea of incorporating into the forest model, forest garden model, getting more wild fruit trees and food trees in there, planting, growing shrubs that could potentially benefit the community, but also medicinal plants as well. And then, for example, people like Adam and those with who will be developing the knowledge on medicinal plants would be able to share knowledge of which would serve the community in terms of health and accessibility to alternative sort of like plants and what have you. So that's what we're thinking of putting forward. And then some of the other volunteers have basically come forward and expressed an interest, and we thought about posters, creating some posters, for example. So working with the school, with Jill and with the school. I'm sure some of our members are DBS'd, and Jill made it clear that she's keen to to move forward with this. So we're thinking of maybe contacting a local artist, and basically potentially going down into the school and creating some posters with the school children, sharing some ideas, raising awareness about it, and posters about the mound and the project, and so forth, to engage the community. So this is part of an engaging the community exercise, creating posters with the school, with the children, contacting obviously local businesses and parishes, and getting these posters put around. I think it's going to be important in really engaging the community, like at Rosebank. I think what he was saying now is there's just mainly volunteers that are left that are doing the bulk of it, but it is really beneficial to the community in that sense. Like I know people who have really their children and it's really made a difference in their lives just being part of that project down at Rosebank. So waiting for these inquiries to come back to see where we're at with it. So we want to see if there's any possibility of getting it as a greenbelt land. If not, then we go in for the community asset, and as long as we put a strong case together for that, which there is already, because Little London is one of the comes down lowest, ranks the lowest, one of the lowest on tree canopy area in Leeds. So it needs those trees, it needs more trees. So we shouldn't have a problem with that if they don't accept it as greenbelt land. But I'm pretty sure, and I have asked for our volunteers to, if there is anyone willing to go through some of the paperwork, because there is quite a lot of bits and pieces, to it. Formalities and what have you, but I think we've got a reasonable understanding of that. And volunteer policies, we've got the safeguarding policy and we've got an equal opportunities policy and that kind of thing already in place. We will need to be renewing our insurance soon and liability and stuff like that, public liability, but and volunteers insurance and what have you. But we're familiar with these processes, so I'm looking forward to touching base with Jill actually and getting more feedback and interaction with Jill and the local community. So thanks again, Kim and Adam, for coming down. There's more of my volunteers did want to come and join the group, but we might have to do a separate meeting between us and look at how we can push forward as well. And like the site survey, I think we're looking for a date maybe early next month where we can meet up, do a little pick. We could do that as well easily, and we can. And because what we want to do is create a model of the land, and we want to look at how it can look. Maybe create a model and look at. Obviously, we need more input from people with experience in forest gardens, layouts, and so forth. But we are reaching out for that, for people to come forward with that to support us with it. And permaculture and all the rest of it, I want input from different advisors, and so we can get the layout and we can move forward with it. I think sooner the better. Yeah.
And then we could maybe second step work out a date for a site assessment. Maybe whoever's interested, yourself, Darren, other people here, and somebody from Little London Primary School to go down and have do a bit of a recce and have a bit of a brainstorm. I suppose a set of proposals could be a work in progress. I don't know, something we could develop. Or what about the idea of? I think we had an idea earlier of having a survey, some sort of a survey of people in Little London that could inform whatever we see after a site assessment, and then maybe work on some sort of a proposal. I'm just trying to work out some sort of a sequence of events which we can then give dates to, and some action plots to people here. What do people think? Just trying to make it a bit more concrete. Ellen.
So just Darren mentioned bringing in other people that have got expertise in specific things like creating a forest garden or expertise in permaculture. It would be good to have them for the site assessment, because the site assessment isn't just looking around. It's evaluating the soil. It's making judgments. And Darren's said quite a bit about it already on the basis of the species that have been seen growing there. But that it's a slightly more specialised task than just looking around and and just visually getting an idea of what you want.
Sure, yeah.
Things like what would need to be done, maybe to enrich the soil or whatever, in terms of planting.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
Eric.
Just to really sort of try and sum up a bit on what Darren was saying, we all seem to be going down the line of perhaps adopting it, getting some sort of ownership of it, but the base thing, what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop it being built on, in effect, aren't we? and I think Darren actually flagged up there's a simple way of doing that, and there's a slightly, and one of them is if it gets redesignated as green land,
HG3.
It becomes what's the terminology, Darren?
It's HG3, whatever that stands for, but it seems like a designation for Greenbelt. There's none in.
Greenbelt. Yeah. And it does seem that potentially is the one we want to go down first, if that safeguards the land. And then the second bit in terms of let's get lots of people involved. Now, having said that, if we need a land survey and all the rest of it to get the first bit done, to get it turned into Greenbelt, that's fair enough. And perhaps it can sort of carry on like that. But we could end up doing more than we actually need to safeguard the land. And if we safeguard the land first, at that point, then we've got a stage 2 where it's okay, the land's safeguarded. What do we want to do with it as a community now? I mean, I don't know if that helps or just helps to clarify a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the priority is safeguarding the land and looking into. I mean, like I say, I have sent out this email and it's being forwarded to numerous departments of the council because it does involve various inquiries and answers, which I will update you on as soon as we get a response as to the process of recategorising the space as Greenbelt, whether that's a possibility or not. I don't see why not. I mean, we should always challenge these things. If they say no, we should always dig a bit deeper. But yeah, I think that's the priority is protecting the land, and then we look at who's got the energy then to move forward and engage the community and make it something special and something to cohese the to bind the community together. Yeah.
Darren, can I ask that you send us the email? The email where you're requesting to know whether it's a green, whether it could be converted onto a Greenbelt land, and see if we can also help in getting some answers as well, if that's all right.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.